Theresa May says she's offering the business community a grand bargain. Is that good from your perspective?
Well, we hugely welcome today what is a really pro-enterprise speech that is setting out a vision for the UK which puts innovation and invention at the heart, is talking about the value of free markets. We really welcome that. And at the same time, yes, I mean, the Prime Minister is talking about a social contract. Businesses recognise that and are absolutely here to rise to the challenge of making that work.
Right, but an extra £2 billion a year by 2020 of investment in research and development, obviously you're going to welcome that. But is it really a grand bargain? I mean, the Labour Party is offering £500 billion over 10 years.
Well, I think that what she has set out this morning is actually something which is, she talks about an industrial strategy, which is about creating the enablers for a strong economy. She talked about productivity and raising productivity across the UK. And the innovation part is only part of that. The skills agenda, infrastructure, connecting our cities in the north and the south, these are all other parts of the picture, and we look forward to the autumn statement on Wednesday to see a little bit more of that plan.
Right, so you're happy with the £2 billion figure, although, as I say, not really starting till 2020. But a bargain is a bargain, it's two-way, and Theresa May has said that some businesses game the system and play to a different set of rules. Is that fair?
There are some businesses that are not playing straight, and I think it's up to all businesses to call that out, because it does affect and tarnish the reputation of the many. So this is something we welcome. I think it is an area where businesses can step up, take a lead, and reform in areas where we can prevent the actions of the few from tarnishing the reputation of the many.
Right, so which businesses in your mind are not being straight, if you like, to use her language?
Well, I'm not going to name names, but I have to say I think it was welcome in the Prime Minister's speech that she recognised it was the few, and that it is the majority are good citizens. They're investing in their communities. They are innovating. They are creating jobs. So it is a recognition of the few, and that's what we need to address. And the corporate governance green paper that she talked about is something that we welcome.
I think people might say it's easy to say that there are some businesses that don't play by the rules and they need to be called out. But if nobody's going to actually name who they are, or at least the areas in which the rules are not being adhered to, then do they actually exist? I mean, is this a sort of false bogeyman being put up here, unless either you or Theresa May are prepared to say who they are?
I don't think so. I mean, I think that we do have strong rule of law in this country. We do actually have very good corporate governance. It's recognised around the world as being very strong. But where that happens, I think it is an important thing to have the right mechanisms in place. And by and large, we know we really do. It's one of the areas, actually, I think the UK is seen globally as being strong. But there is more to do. We know that there are issues around trust and the reputation of business. And I think this is part of the progress towards fixing it. And therefore, we welcome it. And we'll be engaging very strongly on the government's proposals in the Green Paper.
Right. Now, there had been quite a lot of talk and rhetoric about forcing companies to have workers sitting on their boards. But it looks as if today Theresa May has rowed back from that. She's now saying the views of workers should be represented, which is not the same thing. Do you welcome that?
The initial proposals were actually about the representation of workers' voices and consumer voices on boards. It was never actually about putting a worker on a board, necessarily. And some companies do welcome that. We've spoken to many companies, and for some companies that is absolutely the right model. But it's not the only way. And I think we welcome the fact that the Prime Minister is going to set out a range of options, of which that will be one. Some companies will welcome that, but there are other ways of doing it. I think one of the things that's absolutely right is that where companies do engage really well with their employees, they are better, more productive companies, and that's what we need to be aiming to achieve here.
Right. I mean, I think the implication was that there was going to be a promise to put workers on company boards, and it sounds like you're pleased that there isn't going to be any element of compulsion, or that is going to be the only way to have workers' views represented.
I think the fact there's going to be a range of options is a really good idea.
Right. Let's talk about Brexit and the grand bargain, because if it becomes clearer than it is now that the UK is going to pull out of the single market and the customs union, then would you still welcome the grand bargain that Theresa May's put forward today?
Well, we have to wait and see on that. I mean, as you know, businesses would like more certainty, they'd like a plan. We understand why that's not possible at the moment. One of the things that we would like to see is transitional arrangements so that companies who are most affected have time to prepare. We have to see what happens. And one of the things that we welcome today from the Prime Minister is that she has said that when she can say something, she will. And that is, I think, what businesses need to know. And they need to know they're being listened to.
But when does that need to happen, do you think, Carolyn?
We want more. Well, we are looking over the next few months. We're going to be triggering Article 50 by the end of March. That is still the timetable that the government is setting out. And we look forward to when they have something to say. We look forward to hearing that really soon, because the uncertainty is affecting investment, and it is going to be important for there to be a plan quickly.
Right. Every indication has shown that they are favouring pulling out of the single market, that in a way they don't see UK leaving the EU, unless we pull out of the single market and also the customs union. How worried would you be by that?
Well, language is important here. We talk about barrier-free access to the single market. That's what really matters for businesses, that they can trade without tariffs, without non-tariff barriers around regulation. That's the really important principle there. And we want that to be set out as being a very strong priority. The customs union is a more complicated issue. That is a trade-off really between, we would like to be able to do new free trade deals around the world with India, China, US, for example, but the implications for red tape at borders is significant for some businesses. So these are complicated issues, and I think again what we're saying to government there is listen to business, consult with business. You'll hear different views, you'll hear the evidence.
Carolyn Fairbarn, thank you very much.